So Elliot, I'm really excited about this next technique because as far as I know, you're the guy who invented it. And my proof for that is I hadn't had grapple arts running for very long. The early 2000s anyway. When you sent me a video of you having invented this crazy technique, and since then I've seen people have started incorporating it at a higher level. Hoist Gracie used it. You don't get a higher endorsement than that. So it's an interesting snapshot of jiu-jitsu evolution.
I think the term inventing things is kind of funny because maybe someone in Brazil had been doing it for 30 years and we just never knew, but it's something that I kind of discovered, back in the early 2000s, and something that's been helpful for me because especially way back then I didn't have the best omoplata, so I had trouble finishing it. And this is a great option, not only if you have trouble finishing the omoplata, which hopefully by the end of this volume you won't have any issues with, but what I like about the rack in particular is that it allows you to go directly into a submission that forces them to either tap or to give up the more basic omoplata option. So let's take a look. So say we're going for the stomping omoplata here, and instead of getting heavy on that leg like we did previously, now we are going to triangle our legs. Now, just to see the basics of the rack, what we're gonna do is triangle here and hook this foot under something, either under their armpit or under their leg or under their neck. Because Stefan's upright, the only real option right now is the armpit. Now, very important that I get my hips out and I straighten both legs here. So a lot of people do just this, but that doesn't have enough power. As I do that, I have to do this as well. You won't see much movement here because the straightening of this leg will add more pressure to this leg, and this leg won't actually move, but there's a big difference from Stefan's perspective of this versus this. Sorry.
Very powerful.
So we have to straighten both legs, and I cannot stay on this angle. In particular, if I'm over or under his arm, all he has to do to defend is air guitar, and I lose it. So it's very important that, especially if I go under his arm, that I lift my hips and get them out this way. Now when I straighten my legs, even if he air guitars, it doesn't really matter because I'm stuck in his armpit. Same thing if I was under his neck, which is possible only if he's down a bit, so not if he's really postured. Now again, we're here. Now what happens here, whether I'm under the neck or the arm, is sometimes you'll see he'll move away. If this happens, I sit up and I walk backwards while I straighten both legs to finish the submission. Now, because he's moving away, sometimes his arm starts getting loose, but his shoulder goes down, so that creates the regular omoplata situation, and we just go for our regular finish. So one more time. So we're here, we go for our stomping omoplata. Now, rather than just triangle and go into the position from there, what I like about doing it from spider guard is I can force the rack right from here. I get my hips out, I straighten both legs here. Again, sometimes I'll tap him there, and it's a bit of a pec stretch, shoulder lock. It can be an elbow lock as well. Now, I straighten, I sit up, and I walk. Why do I walk backwards? That's going to make this leg heavier. Now again, sometimes to defend, he starts moving his body away a little bit, which presents, so long as we're ready to follow it up, presents the regular omoplata, and we finish. Now something that's a little more common in Nogi, but you'll be in these situations, especially if the partner's standing, is that you go for your omoplata, you force the rack, but instead of going under their armpit, you can go under their leg. Now again, you straighten both. Here, it's now very tough for them to roll. As you straighten your legs, the tap is easy. So this is just one more option that makes it hard for them to use their regular defenses, and again, adds quite a bit of power. And we can always look for that wrist lock.
Tap, tap.
If my partner starts falling backwards, I have to let go of the rack. just for their safety, because as they fall here, the pressure ends up being further added by the fall, and they can't tap in time, I can't release in time as they're falling. So I have to be careful. As they fall back, it adds their body weight to the submission, so we have to be really careful not to try to insist on that while they're falling. They could get really hurt. So safety first. Very powerful submission, but a very dangerous one if your partner loses their balance.